Welcome to enVisioning Success, the weekly podcast that's your prescription for business clarity. In today's episode, we're about to unlock the incredible potential of business diversification. Discover strategies to expand your company, secure financial stability, and take control of the life you desire. Listen up for expert guidance and practical steps to thrive in the world of business.
Hello. Welcome back. Today we are talking about the risks and reward of business diversification. We've got this theme going here. We're talking about expanding and diversifying your mature company. I am your hostess, Laura DiBenedetto, joined by my co-hostess, Julia Becker Collins.
Hey there.
I thought you were going to go, hey. We were experimenting with that.
I'm diversifying.
Oh, well,
See what I did there?
Appropriate?
See what I did there?
I do. I'm here for it. I like it. That's cool. I don't even have a funny retort to that. I want one so badly. I got nothing.
One of my favorite topics. So I'm pretty excited.
This is cool. Well, Julia has a fun story that kind of throws me under the bus a little bit, but that's cool. It's funny. The thing about business diversification is it's kind of like what we talked about in the first episode, but not. It's a little different. You know, we talked about identifying new markets and new frontiers, but business diversification, that's different. Julia, why don't you explain?
Yeah. So diversification, I like to talk about diversification because it helps you take a step away from your business and look at it from a 30,000 or 300,000 foot view and see where your income streams are coming in from, what you're doing well, what you're not doing well. It helps you put a real acute eye on everything that's happening. But it also helps you see what new opportunities are out there. So like we've been talking about for the past few weeks, where can you grow and change? What new partnerships could you bring on? What else is open to you that will work well for you as a company? The other thing to look at is, what is the composition of your clientele? So a good example with vision advertising is when I first came on board 7 years ago, which is shocking at this point.
Lucky 7.
We had
Lucky 7.
Lucky 7. We had a very strong majority of our clients in the hospitality world, which I think we talked about in episode 2. And that was great. It was very fun. We love working with restaurants. I like getting fed by my clients. That's always a good time. Right. But it's a little chaotic. It's not as much fun when that happens. Thank you, pandemic. So looking at the portfolio of our clientele, we had made the strategic decision a number of years ago to turn the ship and have fewer restaurants and hospitality companies and more, as we like to say, quote unquote, boring clients, insurance, law firms, hazardous waste removal, etc.
Hold on, we need to be more PC, essential and non-essential.
There we go.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Stable and not stable. Because the income stream is more stable, the businesses are more mature and established. You don't necessarily have owner operators, and people are more removed from their big feelings about money.
Oh my God, hold on. That is such a huge aspect of this. Like in us growing up and diversifying the clients that we'd like to serve, we have enjoyed our jobs so much more.
Yes.
It's huge because in getting away from people who are very emotionally invested to those who are more academically invested. Oh my God.
Right. A number of episodes ago, we discussed having real concrete conversations with the people that you're going to partner with, having those upfront conversations about money, not having the big feelings about the money, etc. when you run a mature business like Vision Advertising, when you work with another company, you want to make sure that their value structure is similar to yours around those things. So you want to have those difficult conversations up front. And so when you're diversifying your income streams, which again, this is one of my favorite topics. It's so in my wheelhouse. Where's the income coming from? What kind of company is it? How stable is that company? How stable is the income stream? Do you have too much coming from one area? And when you're looking ahead, and you think about where the pitfalls may be. So if you're working with more of a chaotic income source, whether it's in our case, hospitality, or in somebody else's case, something that is funded by a grant, and maybe the grant will dry up, et cetera. How do you stabilize your company's income stream and help grow your revenue by diversifying where the money is coming from?
Yep. All of that. Adding to it, the types of money you're getting.
Yes.
So obviously we're a service-based business, right? But there are things that we can do where we can provide products. There are things that we are looking at going into our 25th year for intellectual property. That's another method of diversification. Julia has built up a nice reputation for herself as a paid speaker for Vision Advertising. So Vision Advertising has been able to diversify our revenue, not just with who we serve, but the way we serve. And that's really, really important. So it's been a game changer, to be honest, because I mean, what do you look at in what you want from a company? Well, your report card is your revenue statement and your dividends at the end of the year. That's how you know how well you've done. And being able to go through turbulent times, like going through a pandemic, she and I learned a lot. And this has definitely been okay, well, in case there's another one closer than 100 years from now, let's see if we can, diversify so we can provide stability to our own cash flow. Because listen, our cash flow informs how Julia and I live. And if our money goes up and down, I don't want to deal with, I'm not sure if I'm going to pay for the house I live in this month. I mean,
Right.
Screw it, whatever, like food. You know what? I needed to lose weight anyway. It's fine. I'll go panhandle. It's cool. Like you need stability. And for more than just owner compensation, which, I'm kind of like being cheeky and joking about, that's how you make sure that your people are unaffected in turbulent times. You want to make sure that you've got incredible staff retention, because as we've been talking about for the last 4 weeks, if you're thinking about exiting your company somehow, guess what helps you have good numbers? It's having incredible continuity, and you can get more value for your company in many cases by having people that have been with your company for a number of years who would be happy to go with the new people.
Absolutely. Before we started recording today, one of the things that you and I were discussing is when I first came on board, actually, when you were interviewing me for the position, we were discussing how Vision Advertising, you described it as an obstinate teenager in terms of the maturity of the business, right? So it's not a baby, it's not an infant, it's not a toddler, it's been around for a while, but you wouldn't really hand over your car to it, right? So
yeah, I remember that. And it was honestly a really good metaphor, because I remember saying to you how much I needed this company to be a grown-up.
Right. And if you are starting a new company, you can feel the difference between, you're in that beginning startup phase, you're in the toddler phase, you're, walking but not running phase, right? It's a great metaphor for where the company is and if in its life cycle. And once you've really hit that stride, the hope is that part of the stride includes diversification of income streams. So it helps with your stability. It helps with what you can offer, like you were saying, in terms of services or products, depending on what you offer. And it helps you be able to pay your mortgage and also sleep at night, and not have giant panic attacks like we used to have. I'm glad we don't do that anymore.
Sweet baby Jesus. I don't miss those days. It's crazy, but like, so I'm starting my third company, which some might argue makes me a real friggin' idiot. And I'm one of those people that might argue that. In fact, depends on the day.
You haven't learned. You
No, I love suffering.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever retire. I really suck at sitting still. I'm just allergic to it. Like, I love solving problems, right? But, it's friggin' interesting to like go through the infancy years all over again. And I mentioned this last episode that like not everybody is willing to be a beginner again. And I will be so transparent and admit to you right now, I have not enjoyed that. And I would like to cancel my free trial.
Thanks for the ride. I'm going to get off now.
Yeah, we're done. But oh my God, like you really do go through it. And it doesn't mean you can't fast track a life cycle of a company and like get to that adult stage a lot sooner. I mean, I started vision advertising when I was 19 years old. Give me some credit, man. Like, of course, the company took a while to get going and went through a lot of, ups and downs and hardships, because I, as a human, was going through ups and downs and hardship. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was still struggling to learn how to communicate with anybody, never mind clients, so I had my own growing pains. And this will come as no shock. Sometimes a business will be very, very reflective of the headspace and the overall well-being of the owners.
Mm-hmm.
And mine certainly was. And it was a place where I remember bringing you on because there was just so many things I was just burnt out on, couldn't do anymore. I was tired. I was like, I suck at the following things. I'm good at the following things. And I just really, really needed help. And that was the beginning of the adult period, was me acknowledging where I was not so awesome and where I was actually standing in the way of my own success.
Right. And this goes back to what we've talked about for the past few episodes in terms of strategic partnerships. And today we're talking about diversification. We previously talked about identifying new frontiers and markets. Part of that is what's on your internal bench, right? And we'll talk about another one of my favorite topics, retention and recruitment of staff, in a future episode. But part of that is, what talent do you have in-house, and do you need to be diversifying that? So like Laura was saying, we now offer different services and more services than we previously offered, which is great, because then again, we're diversifying that income stream and what we can offer in general to different clients, and what talent we have in-house. The staff we have right now, I mean, I could talk about how amazing our staff is all day, but the maturity level, what they are experts in, what they are so amazing at. 10 years ago, we couldn't have offered video like we do now. We have an incredible bandwidth and depth and breadth of talent here. And so part of growing that mature company is understanding, what capabilities do you have on staff? Do you need different kinds of capabilities? How are you evaluating that? And then how can you translate that into stable and more income? Because as I always say, we're all here to make money. Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed. You're right.
And thank you.
Right. And you're right. We do have an incredible staff, and being able to add diverse talents has really helped us to grow. And, we have talked about a lot in the last couple of episodes, and, partnering with people externally and having referral partners, but also partnering with people internally, like,
right.
And trusting people to really have your back, but also growing with them. We have someone on our staff who's been with us for 8 years. He's amazing. If he's listening, we love you.
Yep.
But the thing that's been wonderful over all these years is watching him diversify his skill set, which has allowed us as a company to diversify what we can offer, what problems we can solve. And it literally, when he gets better, we all get better. When Julia gets better, we all get better. When I get better, I'm like, hey guys, I've got this new thing. Let me share this with you. And I'm able to share and grow. So staying in your comfy little rut, it's comfy, but it ain't very rich in there.
Right. And I mean, one of my favorite things, if you've ever met me or heard me speak, is just because we've always done it this way does not mean we should continue to do it this way. And a lot of mature businesses get stuck in that. And one of the big conversations I have with business owners and leaders, and also our staff, is just because it's always been done that way does not mean we do it that way going forward. Diversification also means how you approach business, what you do in business, how you solve problems. You really need to be taking that step back and looking at, what else could we be doing here? Is there a better way to solve this problem? How else can we empower the staff to solve the problems on their own, right? We talked, I believe, last time about delegating, and that's an important skill set to have at many levels of the company, not just the C-suite.
I'm thinking about, honestly, just the whole AI conversation. Although we did settle on we're doing it and we're going to dip some toes in the pool of AI and whatever, we were very conscious about how to do it. There were, I think, universal feelings of, I don't know if I like this, for a lot of interesting reasons. And because of the diversity of opinion, we were able to make an informed decision about the way to proceed. But just the inclusion of using these tools, it's actually helping us to be a little bit more efficient with our time. So we're able to get more done. We're able to do things differently, to your point, Julia. I mean, it's just, I think there's no value in staying put for the sake of staying put. It's comfortable, it's easy. But if you're not growing, you're dying. And I've heard that phrase for years. It's not generally a phrase that I use, but I think it applies here. So, overall, I'm thinking about the overall message of what we're really focusing on here. And it's about expanding your company and diversifying your company, ultimately, so you can be richer and happier. When you have the means to live the life you want, to exit the way you want, to enjoy the years on earth that you are given well and to your specification, instead of being chained to your desk, you get to live the way you want. That's vital. And that's what these conversations are about. And this is why we do what we do. So at Vision Advertising, for all 25 years, I have been in the business of helping people to have a quality of life brought to them by the quality of their business. When you have quality of business as an entrepreneur, that's how you get quality of life. And with Julia and I now being co-owners of Vision Advertising, her quality of life matters to me, mine matters to her. And if our lives are such that we're both slaves of this company, something's wrong.
Yep.
And we're not looking to exit anytime soon. Maybe someday we will, but we'll figure it out when we get there. For now, we're happy to be here, but we're excited about the conversations about identifying the new markets and frontiers. We do it all the time.
Right.
Our clients do it all the time. We encourage them to do it. We bring it up. Hey, have you thought about this, this, and this? It's important to do. And this is something you should really think about. I said it at the end of last episode. I'm going to say at the end here of this one, go back and listen to the other episodes. They're really, really helpful to you. That's what they're there for. Think about, building strategic partnerships and collaborations. Who can you work with? Why do you want to work with them? Does it touch you in the head, heart, and wallet? Mergers and acquisitions. Is that something that's right for you? Is it? Does it check all the boxes? Is something else right for you? And then thinking about business diversification. How can you flex and get out of your comfy little rut so you can actually have this incredible value? So you can have the financial success you're looking for, which will ultimately translate to the life success that you're looking for. And you can be like our over 70 client who's now having fun playing with his grandkids.
Yes, absolutely.
I want to play with grandkids, but I'd probably have to have kids first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play with my dog. So,
What about grand kitties? I could probably do that.
ooh, I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you, Julia, for joining me in this series. And thank you for listening. We really appreciate you being here, trusting us with your time. And we hope that this has been useful to you. If you have questions that you'd like to see us address in future episodes or topics that you would really like for us to cover, shoot us a note through our website or any of our social media channels. We're really, really excited for your feedback. If you think that we were awful in our first couple episodes, that's good feedback too. Just be sure to mention why so we can do better next time. But aside from that, thank you, Julia.
Thank you, Laura.
Welcome. That's Julia Becker Collins, and I'm Laura DiBenedetto. Thanks for listening.